Hello, my name is Michelle Lamont. I teach for the School of Education in the Education Specialist Program. One of the courses I teach is Education 538. This is the K-12 literacy course. And I've developed this course to be a no-cost materials course. Our materials come from a multitude of resources, and they're all housed in an easy location for students to access. As a first-generation college graduate, I well know how stressful the cost of textbooks and other course materials can be. With textbooks costing students anywhere from $100 to $200 per course, this can be extremely stressful. I know I often had to pick and choose which texts and materials to purchase, sometimes choosing course materials over other necessities like food. I was always grateful for the availability of texts in the library reserves or other similar lending libraries. This is a great program, and I hope to see it grow as the university grows. I'm proud to say that not only does our department work together to provide these no-cost course material courses, but we also strive to make sure our material is in formats that maintain accessibility for all types of learners. Thank you for listening.
I just wanted to share a bit about my experiences in going to all digital recordings for my classes in special education and education. I will be honest that it was a challenge for me at first. I'd used a textbook for many, many years, and the simplicity of just using one book, of course, was obvious. But what it forced me to do was actually look at other sources of the information, at maybe more current sources, and certainly sources that are coming from different voices and different perspectives. And of course, it's been a positive thing overall. And when I would have a textbook, there would be numerous chapters that I wouldn't utilize at all because they weren't relevant to the course material, or I didn't have time to cover them in my course. And so that always seemed wasteful, that there was parts of the book that we made the students buy that we didn't use. But in looking at other sources of information, I've been excited. Sometimes we'll take a chapter from a text and utilize it as the course information, but other times I've looked at other resources, other formats, including videos, of course. And when I'm presenting a class on people with disabilities, of course, people who have that disability or parents of children with that disability, speaking from the perspectives is always very valuable. I've found lots of fact sheets, what to do in case of a seizure, what to do in case of high blood sugar, things like that, that are very practical, written by either parents or medical professionals in the field, letting the future practitioners know in very easy terms, simple to understand terms, what to do. And also for me, coming out of education here in Ventura County, the educational system, using the actual resources and materials, forms, handbooks, advisories, flow charts that were developed here in our system, of course, I'm able to use those also as sources of information. So future teachers who may be working here in Ventura County know exactly where to find those sources on the various websites and so forth. So I think it's been a very positive thing overall. I'm sure the students appreciate the lack of a dollar sign in having to purchase a textbook. But I'll just end with an interesting quote that I just got from a student this week. He was commenting on an online conversation on a voice thread about accommodations for students with learning disabilities. And he was saying that for his own style of learning, he prefers to use digital text because for some reason, when it's hard copy, it's daunting to him that I've got this many pages I have to read, 20 pages, 19 more pages. He says when it's digital, it's just rolling down and it's much more calming for him. So I'd never actually heard that perspective, that actually the digital was simpler to a person with a certain learning style. And I just thought that was helpful to go ahead and include that comment in this little commentary that I'm doing.
So I have taught SPED 542 on and off since I got hired in 2005. That's a class on classroom management, but really what it does is talks about positive behavioral supports. In the past 5 years or so, I have not used a textbook for the simple reason that there is not one book that covers everything that the state requires in this particular class for special ed teachers. So I use primary sources from the state to cover the legal framework that the candidates have to learn. I use pieces of books to cover the assessment piece and data collection, and then how to write behavior plans. And then there are odds and ends like universal precautions that I actually take from the nursing program.
Hello, I'm Julia Newman. I teach the class in the School of Education 345, Individuals with Disabilities in Society. And this is my colleague, Talia Drescher.
And Julie and I have taught this class for several years together. And over the years, about 10 sections of this class is run every semester. Usually there are about 30 students per class. It's a total of about 300 students per semester taking this class. And when I started teaching this class, the course had a required textbook every student had to buy in order to complete the activities within the class. So given the opportunity a few years ago, we were able to move all of our materials online so that our students wouldn't have to buy this textbook, and we had some flexibility with materials. So what we did, Julie and I sat in a room one day, we actually closed the door, we put the tables together, we took out all the books. I think we had something like 2 full shelves of just books from the special ed field. We opened them all up. We had spreadsheets and highlighters and all kinds of things, and we found the most relevant chapters for all the topics covered in the class. And we put together a course reader, essentially, from the given textbooks. And after, I don't know how many hours we spent doing this, we had a list. Everything was scanned, everything was uploaded into both of our classes, and we gave it a try. And it was great. Our students no longer had to pay for the textbook, and they had access to the materials. And over the years, what we've done is now, because there are 10 sections of the class, and Julie and I are only 2 of the many instructors who teach the class, we've pushed all these materials out across the sections so that everybody who teaches this class has access to the free online materials that we originally prepared for this class. And so in the last year or two, it's been a wonderful experience as faculty because we now are meeting in larger groups. We're meeting virtually, we're meeting in person, we have an ongoing Google Doc, and we continuously update the readings and other materials so that our students are always have access to the most current materials. And on top of it, it's a beautiful collaboration amongst faculty, and it really reinforces the idea of collaboration also amongst our students, and many of whom are going into the education field. And the idea of collaboration is something that we would like to model so that our students can also bring that into the workforce.
Well, something else I wanted to add is how we have moved from the one textbook model. I'm an old school teacher, and I taught face-to-face for many years, decades, and I had one textbook for this class. And what this has allowed us to do originally, as Talia is describing, sitting around the table and looking at 10 textbooks, what we have moved to are these multiple sources of information. So in addition to the textbooks, we have, or chapters out of textbooks, we've got very up-to-date academic articles, websites, resources from the county, IRIS modules out of Vanderbilt, videos and lectures. So our students, it's been twofold, I think. I think it has expanded my resources and my ability and my mindset as a teacher. And in that way, also for my students, just giving them many more areas of information.
And the harsh reality of the last several years is that at least once we've had to move from face-to-face to distance learning for one reason or another, this last year being the biggest example, being online for the entire year. And having our materials fully online, textbook free, we don't have any reliance on students going to the bookstore to buy a book or waiting for shipping from online bookstores. And also, it's allowed for this flexibility and shift from face-to-face to distance learning and back without really disrupting the flow of the course. Our students are now accustomed to having everything online. Our instructors are accustomed, and our activities as a byproduct have also moved to online resources in order to do this more seamlessly. So looking to the future, having the opportunity to build all of our resources and materials into online platform has just provided tremendous flexibility in how this class is taught, regardless of whether we are teaching in person or online. And it's allowed for consistency across the sections where it may not have existed before. So there you go. That's what we've done, and we're excited. And as a result, quite frankly, of this collaboration, Julia and I were so excited about this, not just the fun we had sitting around the table, but now every course in the special ed credential is textbook free. And all of the amazing byproducts are now true across the program.
So I'm going to end this with something that I said, was it 4 years ago when we first recorded this? Try it. You'll like it.